Right, welcome. Right, today we're going to have a look at the Valve SteamDeck, recent purchase of mine. If you don't know what this is, it's basically a portable PC by Valve. SteamDeck can run obviously all of the native Steam games, but also has got an interface to allow you to play your own games and set up emulation and stuff like that. So we're going to take a look at the SteamDeck today, get it out of its box, do a bit of unboxing and see what all the fuss is about. Is it worth the money? We're going to look at some Steam games, some AAA Steam games. We're also going to look at a bit of emulation, usually through RetroArch, because it's pretty easy to set up and straightforward. First things first is actually buying it. I've gone for the cheaper option purely and simply because I wanted to add my own storage. The only downside I can see of that though was I didn't get the anti-reflective screen, which I think might be a bit of a thing later on, but out and about in the day, in the day I don't find an issue, but when you're at home obviously you do get a little bit of glare. Initially unboxing this, I'm quite pleased with the boxing that come with it. It wasn't overly fancy, it was quite environmentally friendly, it was basic. So obviously no frills there, just a cardboard outlay. That's the main container that the SteamDeck come in, and that's the UK power supply. The package it comes with, the little container it comes with, quite sturdy. It is something I'd quite use. It probably would have been something I'd have bought if it didn't come with it, but I'm really pleased that came with it. The actual construction of it is quite nice, and it feels like it is going to protect the unit quite well. Unzipping it obviously reveals the SteamDeck. Initially I have set this up. I've been playing around with it since I did this initial video, just having a play, setting it up, because you don't want to see me installing it and updating it and stuff like that. So once the the main install's done, this is pretty much where you're going to end up. What I have been waiting for is some bits and bobs. So looking at the unit, we've got volume controls on the top, headphone jack out, some vents, a USB-C, and your on-off button. Underneath there's the SD card slot. On the back we've got a couple of vents and some under buttons. It's very well thought out. It's actually a lot lighter than I thought. There's some two touchscreen displays on the front along with your normal joystick connections. There's a couple of buttons there. The Steam button obviously is a menu button. A couple of front facing speakers. This one has 64 gig of eMMC memory storage, so I opted to buy a 1TB micro SD unit for this, and before you can really do anything with it, before you can connect it to anything, you've got to get yourself a hub. So this was a hub I just got off Amazon, and I'd seen it advertised, so I decided to go with this one. Actually quite pleased with it. It's exactly what it does. It says on the tin sort of thing. You connect it up, you've got HDMI outputs, USB inputs, various other bits and bobs that you can put your cards in to transfer games over if you want to do it that way. So yeah, the essential purchase really is storage and obviously some way of connecting it to your PC or monitor. So as you can see that with it connected to the USB hub, it still charges up okay, so you can continue to work even when it's connected, which is a bonus of USB-C. On turning on the unit, it's quite nippy. On initial turning on, obviously it wants to do an update, your firmware updates, things like that, and then you can get straight into the interface for getting your games downloaded or installed. The menu and the touch screen are pretty responsive. I'm quite happy with that. The Steam button takes you to a nice menu where you can enter desktop mode, or you can look at your emulators, or you can load straight into your Steam library. So very slick interface. I think really looking at the machine, I'm very pleased with the fact that they've really spent a lot of time making this system very streamlined and nice to use. So this is like the big picture mode, the output through the USB-C. A couple of games that I've got installed there. Obviously using Wi-Fi can be a little bit slow for when you're installing things like Grand Theft Auto when they're like 100 gig. This is a nice little game I like to play. I am quite a good fan of the 3DO Road Rash, and this is basically a reincarnation of that, a modern version of that. So it follows the same sort of gameplay. You've got to get from A to B, and the only way you're going to do that is by taking on opponents and taking them out of the race. So this is the desktop interface there, so you can see I've just got a little bit left to download on the Grand Theft Auto 5. at 105 gig install. So that 1 terabyte drive is essential. Even the 512 gig that you get with the bigger versions of this is nowhere near enough. That's why I opted for the cheaper machine and then add my own storage at a later date. So interface is really nice. It's just like using Steam, really nice. So can it do emulation? Well, fantastically, yes. Very easy to set up. Later on we go into the menu where it shows you can install RetroArch. The only thing I found a little bit tricky was obviously file locations, where you put your ROMs on the SD card, how you access that and how you teach RetroArch. So a little bit of a learning curve like with all of these retro emulation devices, but once you've pointed everything in the right direction, everything was pretty intuitive. The system locked onto the ROMs, it plays everything. The controls are all pretty good. You know, there's not a lot of configuration needed doing. I was quite impressed on how well it ran everything. Really, it did run everything brilliantly. This Mega Drive Streets of Rage 2, absolutely fantastic. This doesn't really give it justice the way I've captured it. It was really bright and pretty and nice. I was really pleased. So this is something I'm probably going to use more as an emulation device rather than actually a Steam library. It's nice to have the Steam library, and all of the the bells and whistles will come with AAA titles. But I think this is really going to get loaded with a lot more emulation. And who doesn't love Streets of Rage 2? Absolutely fantastic game. Doesn't age for me. It feels like it actually plays better than the remake. I like the remake, but I prefer the graphical style of this particular game. I think this is probably still the best one of the series, and the SteamDeck handles it absolutely perfectly. A little bit of Cruising USA. So this is the N64 emulator in RetroArch. You can actually download individual emulators and set them up yourself if you wanted, but I did try that to start with, but it was using RetroArch. It was so much easier. I've seen people using emulation stations, stuff like that, but considering how easy RetroArch is on this machine, I think I might just stick with that and just add my ROMs to it from there. So been really wanting to play this for a while. Actually, it's been I've been looking out for HDMI mod for my N64. Because I actually have bought this card to play, but I haven't got around to playing it yet. Purely and simply because I don't really want to play it on RGB or a composite or stuff like that. I want to play it on a decent, crisp display and see what it looks like as a modern take. But now I've got this, I'm not sure if I'll bother. This plays brilliant. I have had some trouble with N64 emulation where things haven't filled out, especially on Mario Kart, where things haven't filled out and played quite well. So to get your emulators installed, this is you click on this button, this little shopping bag, and there you can see what emulators are installed, or you can go to the actual store and specifically pick in the menu. You can pick games, emulation, and there are all your emulators all nicely listed, one after the other. Like so, there's RetroArch and all the rest of them. They are individual, or you can download RetroArch or something else like that. So I'm really impressed of how streamlined and easy it's been made for emulation, as well as the AAA stuff. So all there, they're easy to set up. You just click on the tab to install them. There's even a Switch one there, so I'm very interested in actually trying that next. I've not actually had to play with that, but if that actually does work. I do have a Switch, and yes, it is hacked. So I am quite curious to see these hacked machines. And like I say, I have a proper Switch, for going online and stuff like that. But I did mess around with one of my older Switches, so it will be interesting to see how this does compare. Whether it's worthy of a separate video, I don't know. So this is down. Obviously, this is Grand Theft Auto 5. Whether you regard this as a AAA game, I know it's getting a bit long in the tooth. I was quite impressed with the rate. It runs pretty smoothly. I'd say it's probably base PS4 sort of graphical specs. If I'm making a judgment on it, I know that obviously when you're screen capturing stuff, you don't always get the true effect, but when you're actually playing it on the screen, actually on the device, it does look pretty cool. So that's my look at the the Steam Deck. As a device, I think it's pretty remarkable. I think as an emulation device and a retro platform, I think it's second to none. It's got a lot of years left in front of it from that. As a AAA machine, I'm not sure. I think it might run on a puff in a few years' time, but really impressed. Really impressed with the price, and love it. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you again in the next video. Bye for now.